previously, the group of you have completed the Kami trials and received a boon, as it were, for your status as friend to the spirits of Aquan. You did not yet have a Bodmal Stone, and resolved to continue to explore the jungle some. In the final trial, you had faced a manticore-like creature that had a aura of corruption of some sort about it. Through a couple of good skill checks, the group of you identified a type of flower that it's whose seeds and parts were present, sort of stuck into the manticore's fur, with like burrs. And this was particularly useful because it was a cinder flower that only grows in volcanic soil. You asked your compatriot Kayla, Keela, where nearby there would be a volcano, and she directed you a few leagues northeast. It was the only one of which she knew. Determined to see this source of corruption for yourselves, you made your farewells and set out. A few days of hard travel, and you came upon a slightly more developed road. Parts of the clearing had been cut away. There were clear track marks of wagons and beasts of burden. And this trail eventually led to a camp at the base of a series of three mound-like mountains set in a rough semicircle. At the base of these, there was a camp, which you had approached under the cover of night initially and decided better to stealth it out and do a little bit of reconnaissance work prior to introducing yourselves to wayward strangers in the middle of the jungle. 10 took wing and did a few flybys, gathering some information for the group of you of some individual, some woman driving this force to continue to explore. You heard talk of slaves being sent in, one person having been turned out, come back out, and then sent back in. It didn't sit well with a group of you, but it revealed that there seemed to be some type of mine structure throughout the rock of these mounds, the base of which they were camped. 10 returned after scouting out a guard outpost and finding the entrance to give the location and timing of positions. You snuck around the camp and slowly made your way past the sleeping guard, who you cleverly silenced with the spell, and in through the main door into this area. A carved out crypt was present in the space, and as you entered, a magic mouth spell was triggered, cackling with laughter. Probably would have awoken the guard if you had not silenced them. And found two doors ahead. One was trapped, which Dunning cleverly triggered, and the other was slightly trapped. It seems like maybe it had lost its potency some. A single dart found Aeolus's neck, but other than that, the group of you were unharmed from the second trap. And it seems to spread that room deeper into a more natural-like cavern. This is where we're picking up. As the group of you enter the cavern, to the map. Give the map a second to load. And what is it that the group of you would like to do?
Kalon would like to, let's see here. I'm looking at...
Who's Kalon?
Sorry, I'm sorry. He knows Kalon. I'm just thinking
Walking
female.
pain.
Helly would like to ask the Kami a question about let's see. I guess a survival check to see whether or not we should go further to find what we need. Does that make sense?
Define what you need.
The bone maul stone.
Okay. And what ability are you using to do this?
Survival, I think.
Survival. Give me 1 second to pull up your sheet. Because you have the ability where you're casting the bones for the wheel woe.
Yeah, I guess I could. Will it work for Wheeler Woe? Skill check, saving throw, or attack roll related to survival, nature, or interacting with plants and animals.
Okay, so so that one's just a bonus to like whenever I call for one of those checks. But you could use you could use augury, which you can cast once per day without a spell slot.
Okay, I'll use augury then, but I definitely want to use my new bracelet to make sure that we're going the right way and get their blessings for protection and all that good stuff. So do I roll a D100 or do you do that for me?
Augury?
Yeah.
So your question as you cast these bones and sort of read the divination in front of you in this brief moment is going further along this path going to lead to what you seek?
Yes.
Okay. As you...
Well, specifically a bold milestone.
Okay. Drop the augury text in chat, please.
Yeah.
And then as you cast out these different animal bones and read them, you get a mixed resonation. You feel that it's weal and woe. Both the path is likely ahead, but not necessarily ahead.
Okay. Okay. I'll relate that to the group. We may or may not find a bode milestone in here. We need to be really careful. We got some woe coming at us.
Right. So we've established 10 you're going to scout ahead, right? For traps and stuff.
Yes.
Waiting for your signal.
10 will start to advance forward.
Okay.
Lying to not touch any pressure plates, but keeping a keen eye out for any signs of traps.
Okay.
As 2 pressure plates have already been triggered, that's primarily what I'm looking for.
Go ahead and give me a perception check as you push into the natural corridor here. Pretty good. Pretty good. You have skilled vision, even in the darkness here. And you feel quite certain as you move forward into the natural cavern that for a good while you're not seeing anything. You do see up ahead the corridor does split. One part of it does sort of angle down at a semi-steep decline. and then one of them stays at about the same elevation, I'll call it, same level as you are currently proceeding.
But there aren't any traps in this part of the corridor.
Nothing that seems untowards to you.
Okay. I circle back and tell everybody to follow me. I feel like I should have some sort of a signal so I don't have to keep flying back and forth.
You could whistle like an owl.
I could what?
Like, or something like that.
You don't think a whistle or a call would be suspicious underground?
I don't know. I don't know how smart those gnolls are.
You're assuming only gnolls are down here.
Well, we'll find out.
We advance.
Yeah, unless you're just going to sit there in the dark.
Yes.
I think the old man is grumpy.
Yes, and it takes me a bit to catch up to all you young folk.
Need a walking stick?
I have one. It's my great spear.
Then hurry up.
Okay. Left or right? To the right is the downward progression. To your left is the same level of progression.
Whichever way group of you think is best, I'll follow.
Like my intuition is telling me down.
Okay. I'm gonna jump your tokens a little bit. Hold on a moment.
Okay.
It's a particularly narrow spot that dynamic lighting doesn't like. All right. As you go down the narrow tunnel and peer into the next area, you're all met first by the smell. There's the smell of mold and decay in this space. Looking through, you can see a series of small backpacks off to the corner south, the edge south of Aeolus. And a few bits of habitation, shall we say. There's molded over meats and biscuits sitting there that are giving rise to the smell within this space.
Well, it seems to be here for a while already.
Nobody's been here for a while.
Or somebody was interrupted while eating.
You can make
I
a
want to
nature
try to
check.
determine how long it's been.
Sure. Make me a nature check for that, please. Nice roll. So based on your best guess on rate of decay setting in, and the smell that's filled the area, it's been maybe a 10-day, if that, since these meats were probably edible, and the biscuits weren't covered in mold. That said,
Yeah.
the smell that you are, with natural 20, the smell that you're picking up isn't just the meats. There's another smell coming from the southern wall.
My black and white wrote it
Is
like
it-
that.
Mike's open.
Is it very...
And you wanted
Is it
that. I bought it for you. Okay.
is it very damp? Is it like the humidity very high?
It's not here.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, you just check that there's a distinct smell coming from
sorry.
the southern wall as well.
I go to investigate.
Make me an investigation check.
You said
So
southern wall?
south, here, there, or what?
Directly behind Aeolus.
Ah, there. Okay.
I flutter over and sit on this rock. And you said what check? Investigation?
Investigation, yes.
Tested my intelligence skills. I'm not particularly smart.
Not sure. I mean, there's a smell coming from the wall. Well, you're not sure how it's
Yeah.
coming from the wall, but there's a smell on the wall.
I start poking at the wall.
What is
It's
it
rock.
then?
Like
There
pushing
or
it.
something?
This wall smells strange.
Smell? Do I
Smell.
smell?
You smell the room done.
I don't smell anything. Just the moldy stuff on the table here.
I can take a look at it if you want.
I'm not listening to any of them. I am poking at the wall, pushing different stones, trying to figure out if there's some sort of secret, and not really sure what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's not the most productive, but it's getting there. And the rest of you see her doing this.
Is this like a hobby of yours, poking at walls? It's pretty weird, I have to say.
There's something weird about this wall. It smells strange.
It smells strange.
I lick the
Can
Since
wall.
when does walls smell? Can I go close to 10 and start sniffing the wall?
Sure, make me a perception check.
Like,
I want to lick the wall.
Tastes
It smells- I
cold
smell
and
nothing.
salty.
Salty.
you're weird. There's nothing here.
Yeah, all you smell is rotted food.
I'm gonna move out of the way and gesture for Aeolus to check it out. I swear something's wrong here. It's something strange about this wall.
I will try to take a closer look at the wall
Sure, roll me an investigation
and
check.
the surrounding area.
Much better. Takes you a good minute or so. But you do find near the base, as you're sort of pawing around at this wall, trying to figure out what's going on, there's a small illusion of a rock, about 6 inches off the ground. It's sort of set against the wall, and hidden behind the illusion is a small foot pedal that is used to depress. And as you depress it, you feel the clunk as the wall shifts slightly and can safely be swung out towards you, revealing a secret door.
All right.
I told you there was something weird about that wall.
How?
I didn't smell anything weird.
I ruffle my feathers and look very proud of myself.
That's wow.
You are met by a wall of stench as you swing the door outwards towards you. This area seems to have maybe at one point been a hiding space or a stash room of some sort, but now there are 3 corpses, half covered in mushrooms, littering the space.
What kind of corpses?
Make me a nature check. Low DC. You recognize these corpses as gnolls. Well, what remains of them.
And I put my nose to the air and using Hunter's Bane, see if I can sense anything undead in this area.
Sure. Senses, fae, fiends, undead, as well as... Sure. You can sort of focus on this for a moment. I'm going to take you down to Whisper.
Oh boy.
As you focus on this for a moment, Aeolus, there's an unmistakable stench of fae throughout the space. It's unavoidable. Not just in the room ahead of you, but also in the room that you're currently standing in. It's just everywhere.
Okay.
I'm going to drag you back up.
This universe? Was that just Tolkien?
No idea.
Yeah.
Everybody's back.
Do we think that this room may possibly be trapped? And I'll turn over to Ken.
I'm gonna do a perception check and fly a little bit into the room, not too far.
Can I guidance or try to?
As she flies by, sure. Drop guidance on her. Go ahead and make a perception check, and you get a D4 bonus.
And then I roll the d4.
Yeah. $25. You do not see any traps to speak of. It looks like this place was at one point maybe used by the individuals in front of you to take rests, sleep, be well defended behind a hidden door, but has since turned against them somewhat. You do notice that there is a foot pedal on the back of the door now that you've entered, such to be able to allow people that are inside to also leave. There's no locking mechanism that you notice on the door. It relies on its appearance to prevent unwanted intrusion.
Where are the bodies?
So there's a body here, a body next to the column, slouched up against it, and then one over here off to the right of the map.
I'm gonna go over by the column and I'm gonna loot the bodies.
Sure.
Is it safe to come in?
No traps seen.
All right. I'll loot the other body.
Roll me a d20.
Just a d20. Okay.
Okay. Both of you, as you sort of start going through carefully, sort of brushing mushrooms away, sort of moving through the few garments that these things once wore. You don't find any coin purses. Dunnan, you find a series of blackened veins spiderwebbing across this thing's torso and up its neck into its jaw. Looks unnatural. You've seen similar magic sometimes used to assail enemies. Some of Willem's effects have Willem's abilities have similar effects, but they don't usually linger. 10, you find as you're sort of rustling through, the neck is compromised. This individual also bears the same blackened veins that Dunnan finds, but its neck has been snapped, and following that snap, the decomposition has worked in that space a little bit, and you find underneath the mushrooms, as you're sort of sifting through, a heavy iron collar.
I want to do a medicine check about this weird blackening of the veins.
Sure. Okay. Are you also proficient in Arcana?
No.
Okay. You recognize it as a non-natural effect, no poisons of which you know would have an effect like this. You suspect it's some degree of magically based, but you're not skilled enough to ascertain further.
Okay.
So I think those ones died a horrible death. See these black veins here? And I point them out. Do yours also have one of those? 10?
I think that these may have been some of the slaves that the guards were talking about. This one has
I
an
think they had
iron collar.
no slaves? Could be. And where was the third corpse?
Third one, there's one on there, to the east of 10, one on the column, which is the one I assume 10 just looked at, and then one next to you. So the last one would be far east of the room.
Okay. I'll go over to that one. Does it have the same markings? I
It
like
does.
the veins.
Now that you know what you're looking for, no roll needed. You do confirm it has the same blackened veins. Based on your medicine check as well, 10, you do determine, other than the mushrooms that are growing all over them, these bodies probably expired sometime in the last 11 days or so, at the latest.
And they have no visible wounds as we investigated them.
Well, the one 10 is looking at has a snapped neck. In addition
Yeah, but
to
no like arrows or any gashes or any slash wounds.
no, they do have a number of wounds that have seemingly begun healing or been healed over,
Okay.
and turned into scars or very thin lines.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a history check.
History.
Not terribly difficult for you. Not done the most fighting of an individual in their lifetime, but you've done a fair bit. You recognize what is clearly old battle wounds that have been scarred over, maybe exaggeratedly so, by the individuals in front of you at some point during their lives. You also notice on their backs and shoulders that you can see that are not covered in mushrooms, more recent wounds, signs of a lash.
You know, it seems
They've
you are
been
right.
whipped at
The
some point.
assumption 10 that these were slaves. I see some whip wounds on their back, but I don't think that these are the reason that they are the reason why they are dead. It could be, but I think something else happened to them, and I think it's related to those veins you see, but I could be wrong.
The darkening isn't anything like poison. It seems to be magical, maybe?
Are you asking me, Danan?
I'm just stating.
Okay. Well, it seems similar to this magic that Willem is casting, but usually those effects don't persist after the victim is dead, so it's strange.
Is everything
Um,
all right in there?
Well, just some dead notes that have been probably whipped to death, but they also have some strange black veins all over their body. We are unsure. And they're also covered in some fungi, so...
Can I check to see if there's anything else in their room?
Sure. Make a perception check, please.
I'll also scan the room for anything noticeable.
Nothing else seems out of place. I mean, they have what appears to be very small satchels. You gather probably, as you sort of open some of them, it seems to be ruined food at this point. None of them bear any type of weaponry. The other two do not have collars on. Only the one that you had taken a look at that was against the column bears a collar. But all of them are in a pretty advanced state of decomposition. The mushrooms started to take over pretty quickly.
Can I take the collar?
Sure. It's attached by the neck.
Is there like a lock mechanism?
There is. It's a cylindrical piece that's welded to the side, as opposed to like a padlock. Do you have thieves' tools?
I do not.
It is locked.
Okay.
You can remove it by removing the head.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Grim work, but you may add a iron knoll collar to your inventory.
Got it.
Few tufts of fur and flesh still cling to it.
Yolos, do you want to take one of these mushrooms with you? I know you're like, I don't know, collecting stuff like goop and so on.
Yeah, as soon as the both of you are finished.
Finished in here
Mhm.
as he walks out.
I just want to see what the size of the room looks like.
I'll-
That's there. Okay, leaving the room.
I'll start to gather samples using my hunter's knife.
You make me a nature check as you do so. These mushrooms are you know what type of mushrooms these are after you actually get a good look at them, and you interact with the very first one. These are known as wugwort poppers. I'll put it in chat. They are a particularly small type of mushroom, and they're known for the popping a boil sort of effect that they have when you disturb the cap overly, spreading spores to the affected area. As such, any type of disruption is particularly spreading of them. Make me a sleight of hand check to safely harvest a batch.
Sure thing.
Not your day.
Awesome.
You get about 2 mushrooms that you feel quite comfortable with. You put them in your bag, in a small little pouch, and you carefully put that pouch into your bag. Then as you shoulder your pack, you hear the as those mushrooms burst inside of their pouch.
Okay. Ellis just closes his eyes and, without touching the 3 bodies overly aggressively, I would like to leave a silver piece on each of them with a whisper to the kami to take care of them.
Okay. For a set, step back out into the original room. Off to your west is the direction you had come from. To your north, the corridor proceeds slightly west. And then to your east, there is a corridor, and you can see steps that lead up, ascending about 15 feet or so before the corridor continues out of sight.
Are we able to see any foot traffic exiting or entering from either way?
You can try to. I'll allow one of these checks per rest period. It's a high DC though, because the floor is still tiled here. Despite the natural cavern, seems like someone has taken time to lay paving stones throughout it. Make me a survival check.
Alrighty.
Siegfried will assist you, so you'll have it at straight roll, I believe, because you have disadvantage at the moment, right?
Right.
Okay. You do a good once-over of the space that you've come through, coming down the steps, suspecting maybe like someone disturbed something on the steps and through here. Doesn't appear to be anything that seems untowards to you. There's no sign of foot traffic other than things that you can explain easily with the knolls. And even those, the only way that you're able to pick up anything is very small scratches here and there from the claws. It seems like they had come the same direction that the group of you had passed through.
Where do we want to go?
Hmm.
Coming down, I don't think it makes sense to go back up.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any opinions?
I'd
Anyways,
like to. God, oh God.
Siegfried says, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm that fine with that. I figure we'll probably double back at some point anyway.
Helly feels drawn to the steps themselves. She poked her head around there, and she just wants to go far enough up the steps to see the level floor.
Sure.
Just to make sure. So
Go ahead and move your token up to the top of the steps. Gazing down
Watch
that,
out for pressure pedals.
you take the steps one at a time. Step, your feet echoing in the darkness. As you reach the top, you look ahead. You see more natural cavern ahead of you, and it looks like it starts to open up slightly in that direction. That's all.
okay. So I'll report that to everybody just in case we get stuck. This is what we've got next.
All right.
She has the Spellfire short bow in hand, by the way.
Noted.
As we move forward, I'll try to focus or keep focus on that presence that I was able to sniff
Okay.
out.
Sure. It's as strong as ever.
So we're going north.
Sure. Go ahead and move your tokens.
I'm still flying.
I'm jumping Willem and Siegfried ahead. The corridor spirals around to the east and proceeds down another incline. Keeping an eye out for traps, there's nothing that you see, 10, as you proceed.
And it goes farther down here. To the north is nothing, it's just a crevice or something.
That little alcove, is there anything weird about it?
There's
Like
not.
anything
It appears to
there?
be a natural alcove.
Okay.
No.
And continuing down.
Right behind you, 10.
And it just glide.
And you'll see where I move the other tokens to. As you leave this natural corridor, it connects into a faced wall. Seems you've entered a long corridor that goes east-west. And directly adjacent to you is a wider and taller, about 15 to 20 feet in height, which is greater than the 10-foot corridors you're moving through. Arched, I guess, not domed, arched long hall on the north-south axis This is of note for the rest of this space as well. The corridor to your west proceeds until your line of sight, until you lose sight. Willem will indicate to you that it ends in a door at the end. He has 100 ridiculous vision. The reason that your tokens can't see is because you just walked through a corridor that was north of it. So, I have the dynamic lighting set that way. Now, if I was smart, and I did not. So I can move your tokens to the other side of that space if you want to continue towards the west. But you can see it goes about, measure distance, 90 feet, and then terminates in a door.
I also have 120 feet of dark vision.
You do? Okay, perfect.
I do, because owl.
Right. I mean, Willem has the non-magical darkness as well, as per his class. But the alcove to the south of you appears to be all rubble. It looks like there might have at one point been a statue in this space, but it has been crumbled, destroyed, fallen apart. You're not quite sure. It is small rubble, nothing more than about the size of Ten's fist.
That's tiny. I'm gonna go a little bit east. What's the alcove that I see to the north?
So north of you is... Ooh, let me get my number. Make me a religion check, please. You see a bunch of what appears to be vases with lids, stacked on stone plinths throughout the space, and stone shelvings that have been set up, in a sort of stepped, tiered style. Might be 80 to 90 different of these sort of stone carved vases in front of you. There are a few steps leading up to this space. It's just about 3 feet above the rest of the corridor.
Call me crazy, but that looks like a mausoleum or an ossuary.
Did we step into another tomb?
Anyone else who sees it? Dunnan furthest in. Dunnan,
Yes.
making a religion check.
Even better.
Yeah.
Can Helly make a religion check?
Sure, and that'll be the last one on it. You recognize them as urns. This appears to be not a space meant for final burial. It looks like more of a ritual space or a waiting space. Based on a 19, such practice is not common. And based on the number of urns in the space that seem to be occupied, they're probably very old, and they had never been moved to a proper final burial space.
Okay, well, I'll tell everybody that. And say it's best to just leave them be. Just, yeah. No looting, no touching, please.
All right.
The corridor proceeds south. There are crossing corridors. That's why you can't see further. Let me grab a measuring tool. The corridor proceeds south for out of your vision. Out of 10 in Willem's vision.
Didn't they say it was a mine down here? Why we're now in a, I don't know, mausoleum or a tomb?
All I know is maybe the wide road goes to a bigger place. Wide roads usually don't go to nowhere.
10, your passive is high enough. You notice slight discolorations upon the wall. Although you're not able to make out what they are because dark vision is in black and white. You need a source of light to be able to make them out further. But you do notice them on the walls throughout this long corridor.
Okay. Are they like everywhere on all of the walls, or are there only specific spots?
Every space of the north-south walls, other than around the urn section, seems to have these slight discolorations to them. You're not sure if it's stains or what. There's patches of dark, patches of light, but it's not really making any intelligible shapes. You gather it's probably something in color.
Okay. Does anyone have a source of light?
Sure. And I light the torch. I have like 7 left.
Bring it
I
up
It's
here.
20 and 20, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Done, and as your torch flares into life, the images on the walls are revealed. These are frescoes. They depict a beautiful woman with wings, a form that's both covered in garments, but also extremely feminine. The face of the woman, as she's placed in the first fresco you're looking at, has been chipped away. You proceed and look at the next fresco. It's the woman again proceeding over a funeral rite of some sort. The woman has been defaced. As you look around the rest of the corridor, all of the instances of this individual, some show her fanning out dark feathered wings over the space and inviting what you can only suspect is the souls of those departed to join her. But every single instance, the face of the woman has been chiseled off of the wall.
Seems like somebody really disliked her.
2 religion checks from any 2 people. 1 from each of you, please. Whoever wants to.
Someone who has high int, please.
can try.
I think I got it.
Okay. 10 and Eolus. Hey. All right. 10. You recognize the visage of God that's not been prayed to, at least in Hollow, or in your knowledge, for a very long time. These frescoes depict the Raven Queen.
The Raven Queen. Do I know anything about the Raven Queen?
You know a little, very surface level, because there's not an established religion. But she is also known as the Matron of Ravens. She gets a little bit of a bad rep as a goddess of death, but she guards and presides over the transition from life into death, and abhors undead of all sorts. She's also the goddess of grief. Seems to fit with what Helleras had just mentioned about the urns as well. There seems to be some type of space dedicated to her. Although the defacement sits uneasily.
I relay that information to the rest of the team. Raven Queen.
Patron of Ravens? Never heard of it. But somebody who came here must really disliked her for scratching off her face.
Just as ravens have a bad reputation, so does she.
Would
I-
those of us
I-
from that aren't from Equan
You would have
know
a.
her?
You would.
Okay.
She was not one of the core deities that often receives prayer. As such, you might have sort of a passing recognition of the name, as Ten says it, but it's not like you'd seen her edifice all over the world. So that's why you didn't
Right.
pick up on it right away.
It's odd having. I thought Equan wasn't of that. They didn't worship the pantheon from the mainlands.
Mm.
Why would someone do this to these images?
Perhaps to show that they don't subscribe to the notion of death, or to show their defiance against the pantheon.
Well, somebody was just really pissed with her.
That could also be true. If we want more light, let me know.
Kelly's wondering just to herself, and she's kind of trying to put out her shamanic feelers, whether or not the reason that the urns have not been fully interred is because she has been defaced. Maybe it was. Just wonders if by defacing her portrait, these urns and the people in these urns can't rest. But she's just thinking about that as she's walking along. She's not going to say anything.
Is there anything in this alcove that I'm able to see?
You do find a space that appears to be entirely made up of different ritualistic implements.
Okay.
You gather these are likely for the preservation of corpses or used in the worship of the matron of this hall. They all bear a layer of rust, dust, and disuse.
I start to follow 10.
So that's the crossing over the top corridor. I tried to make sure my dynamic lighting I could adjust as we went for things like this, but not all of them are set up correctly. Some of it I'm able to remove, though. 10, you notice a particularly filled, I guess I'll call it, alcove to the southwest, left on the map. There is what appears to be a suit of armor that is about 12 feet tall. It's far larger than anything that you could ever wear, or even that any of your companions could comfortably wear. This thing is massive and beautifully ornate.
I'm gonna fly up to look it in the face and investigate.
What are you looking for?
I want to know whether this is covered in the same amount of dust and, I guess, disuse signs as everything else that I've seen so far.
Roll me an investigation check. It is not. It is pristine. Not a speck of dust.
That's weird. I want to cast Detect Magic.
Okay. A few things happen when you cast Detect Magic. You release the spell, you're focusing on it. I see you mark concentration. Thank you. Firstly, the suit of armor is magical. Can you drop Detect Magic in the chat? You notice the magical auras about your companions that you expect. Aeolus does have an additional magic aura placed upon him. One of enchantment that you can't quite place, other than the tools of which the group of you most likely discussed during your travels. And as you intone the spell for Detect Magic, here floating and flying in front of the face of this armor, you see the eyes, glowing red, appear in the small slit of the face mask as the armor animates. And I'm going to need the group of you to roll into initiative.
Roll into initiative.
Oh yeah.
Jet.
Alright, let me find where the initiative... there it is, turn order. Beautiful. I updated to the new Roll20 setup. I'm still figuring out all the buttons.
I'm so glad I rolled one.
Does initiative not roll with disadvantage? Ah, there we go. I'll just roll it again.
Don't you have
Take a
advantage
look.
on initiative?
I do not,
Okay.
but I have disadvantage on ability checks at the moment.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. And initiative is an ability check, so...
Getting old.
I'm gonna roll Siegfried and Willem into initiative. There we go. Alright, top of initiative, 10. As you intone this spell, sort of glance around the space, notice the things I've mentioned, and this armor animates. You see its head sort of shift, and you hear the smooth sound of perfectly crafted metal on metal shift as the helm turns towards you slightly. Its red, luminescent eyes fixing on you. What are you doing?
I'm gonna panic.
Okay, that's a free action. That's fine.
And cast Dispel Magic on the armor.
Sure. You release Dispel Magic, and you feel the reflection of the energy sort of come back at you. This is an overwhelmingly powerful enchantment. You feel that you cannot overcome this with Dispel Magic.
Okay.
Make me a history check or Arcana check as well. Nope. All good.
Great.
All right. Anything else, 10? You are right next to it, flying at height.
Yeah. So, I don't want to trigger an AOP. If it does that, I'm gonna say, hi, sorry to bother you. And we're gonna call my turn there.
Okay, sounds good. Brings us to Aeolus with a Willem on deck.
Alrighty. As a bonus action, I'm going to amplify Blood Curse of the Binding.
Okay.
Strength save DC 16.
Strength save DC 16. All right. Does the creature need to have blood for blood curses to affect it?
That is a good question.
It should say in
Blood
here,
Maledict.
blood maledict. I know the Ghost Slayer one allows it to affect undead and things that don't have blood.
They are immune.
This creature is a construct.
Unless I have amplified the curse.
Ah, okay. So because you amplify it, it allows it to affect it.
Yes.
Cool. All right. It gets an 11.
Awesome. I will scream out for 10 to get away from it, and 15 will move up, take my 2 strikes, or try it.
Wonderful. Go for it. This is a 12-foot tall suit of plate armor. The first one clatters off. Nothing. Second one, you find a little bit of purchase. You're not damaging the armor, but you're sort of able to pry it in underneath one of the plates and try to start popping rivets. You find some degree of purchase. So it's 12 points of slashing.
Alrighty.
And 5 points of radiant. Pardon me. The slashing does not seem to have as much effect as you were hoping.
Alrighty.
Anything else, Aeolus?
I will. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35.
Right.
I will bounce away.
Okay, that'll bring us to Willem. Excuse me, I'm managing multiple sheets at the moment. You guys have way more complicated sheets than monsters. Willem is going to attempt pardon me. He is going to attempt vault at it. He is going to miss. And he is going to backpedal. Just missed. That brings us to this horrific suit of plate mail. With you directly in front of it, 10. It is going to draw its longsword, grip it with both hands, and crash the side of it towards you. Does a 15 hit you? 10?
My AC is 17.
Yep, no good. The sword whizzes by just over your head. You just stop flapping for a moment, and crashes in the wall, wedged into the stone for a moment before it yanks it out. It releases one of the hands, takes a few steps forwards into the space, sees everyone gathered around, raises a hand, and is releasing a spell into the space.
It is not able to step forward. Its speed is
its speed is 0. Okay.
Yes.
It can't get it quite as far then. I thought it was just reactions. My bad. What's the diameter on this? 20-foot square. The group you hear Willem and Siegfried scream as a roiling mass of black tentacles and darkness fill the space around them instantly. And that'll be Dunnan's turn.
Okay, I just saw that the construct attack 10 and then released some magic, so
Yes.
he's gonna run up. Why don't you fight somebody your size and start laughing and try to hit?
Let's make a strength save. It does
Okay.
shake off your maledict. Phyllis.
Okay.
Hoo-hoo.
Yep.
It's happy to fight someone its own size. Unfortunately, you are not it. As you stride forward,
Nope.
bravado vanishing as your strikes land.
Bonus
Bouncing
action. The Ilmak appears.
Sure.
And
appears.
rolls even better. Nice.
It appears the tall, cold one does nothing.
I just imagine the hits just clunk on their armor, like no impact at all.
That brings us around to
Usually
Elarax.
that works.
Didn't know. Telly's going to try magic and use the Spellfire short bow
Okay.
on.
What level
Let's
slot?
see what level. I think I'm going to go ahead and give it a lot and do it on a level 3.
Sure. That's 4, so it's 3 and 3. So it's 6 darts coming out. Middling damage as they shriek out, winding around your companions and impacting this thing's suit of armor. No effect. Seems to be immune to the magic missile spell.
Okay. Well, shit.
Lovely.
As a bonus action, she's going to pull Corin out,
Sure.
and that's it.
Okay. Go ahead and yank Corin from the turn. I got it. There you go.
My Mac does not do it.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
No problem. Just make sure to set our hit points. And then that brings us to Siegfried, who has to make a save against black tentacles. That's a Dex save for Siegfried. That is not his bailiwick. I should just leave their sheets up. Siegfried coming through with a good save. Is there half damage? There's not half damage. It is difficult terrain. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Siegfried is just getting out of the space. What would Siegfried do in this situation, y'all? Would he pop one of his wild shapes or no? Now that Ten is here, he doesn't feel the need to do healing all the time. Alright, so
Probably guiding bolt or something.
yeah, we'll use a star map guiding bolt. He'll do an archer form, which does not hit. And a starry map guiding bolt, which also does not hit. Siegfried's not doing well today.
Nice roll.
Yeah, right? That'll bring us back to the top of the order with 10.
Ken is going to toll the dead.
Sure. Wisdom save. Fails with a 6. As you feel the magic sort of ricochet out from you and crash around this space, washing over this thing's form. It is as unmoving as a stone in the ocean. It seems that necrotic is not the way to deal with this thing.
Okay.
It has taken some damage from slashing, and it did take the radiant damage that Aeolus was able to deal previously.
And it disengages a action right now.
Action,
Bonus action.
yeah.
Got
So you could move and risk an opportunity attack, or you could stay put. You're still flying about 10 feet in the air.
I'm gonna chill here.
Okay.
Dun's up here to
Yeah.
draw attention, so
That brings us to Aeolus.
All right, as a bonus action, I'm going to activate one of my Crimson Rights. It'll be cold,
Okay.
and I'm going to rush up beside the spectral bug and attack.
Go for it. 21 hits. That's 11 slashing, halved to 5. And then 2 radiant and 1 cold. It does take full cold damage.
Alrighty.
That
I
seems it's not
will-
immune to all things, just some
I will
things.
shout out Radiant and anything ice. And then I am going to... I'll just stay here.
Okay. That'll bring us to Willem. No, he can't do that. He's gonna attempt another fault. Try to get the best information for you all. Oh, he is not going to succeed. Or Willem. He does need to make a dex save against the tentacles. He is going to fail. At 3, 6. And Willem takes 12 points of damage. As he is restrained by these tentacles sort of grabbing and holding him in place. And he starts scolding them as we move around to the suit of armor's turn. It is going to stride, step through the space of the mug. 10, if you'd like to make an opportunity attack, you have the chance to do so. Squeezing through that space and pushing to here.
alright. How do I do an AOP in the system?
So if you have, did you take Warcaster?
Yes.
So any spell that you have that has an attack roll built into it and targets a single creature, you can use in place of the opportunity attack. Otherwise, it's a melee weapon attack.
Can I like Sacred Flame or
So Sacred Flame is a save, so
okay.
You can't use something like that. But something such as Inflict Wounds, you could use. I'm pulling up your sheet. Give me a sec. My game just doesn't want to load it. Sheet. Alright. So Primal Savagery is a melee spell attack. So you can use Primal Savagery for the opportunity.
I will do that then.
19 just misses. Okay. Oh, I have tests there. Oh, because I was looking for an image for it and I didn't find anything yet. Almost get through. You feel as your claws sort of turn into this acidic form briefly, and sort of talons reach out and try to find purchase. Just barely scrape by. It is going to make 2 melee attacks. One on you, Aeolus. 14 to hit.
That hits.
Wow. 12 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And 23 to hit you, Dunnan. Rolled great.
Yeah.
12 points of slashing, reduced to 9
Just
because of your
hits.
heavy armor. Just hits. It's garbage. But 20, sorry, 12 points reduced to 9 for you, Dunnan, as we come around to your turn. Seems like this thing's pretty heavy, pretty bulky, but it doesn't hit particularly hard.
Nah. Yeah, make you
What does it
regret
do?
that. And overhead swings the basher into its side.
Yeah, go for it.
Come on, man.
Oh my.
Clonk.
No.
Alright. Try again. Yeah.
This thing
Fuck you.
is brutally difficult to hit for you. You are battering at its knees and shins, and it is ignoring you. Other than an occasional sword swipe towards you. As anything else done? Still movement and a bonus.
Yeah, the bonus action from the mug. No, it's not getting better.
No, it's not.
It just
Oh my gosh.
goes into fetal position and cries.
Alright. That
This
brings
is
us...
not a good day to die.
Hell harassment. Siegfried and then 10 on deck.
I seems to have withdrawal.
Yeah. Helly's gonna stay back and cast create bonfire.
Ooh.
Right about it's a 5-foot cube, so away from them, but under him.
Sure.
So yeah, probably here, two squares down from where you have it now.
Right there.
Oh, where'd you? Okay.
Yeah. Right there on it.
Okay. Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna drop it to the map layer.
What level?
It's a
I'll
cantrip,
try. Yeah.
so there is no level.
Okay.
So that is any creature when you cast a spell must make a dex saving throw. Dex. Not good. 3. Rolled a 3. Go ahead and roll me 2d8 fire damage, please. And then when it enters or ends its turn there, it has to roll again. And mark down concentration for yourself. It does take the full fire damage, 6 whole points.
Nice.
Alright.
Fire, people, fire. Got any fire spells?
Cool.
Willem has one.
Yeah, I do. As we come around to Siegfried, it will obviously fire off a starry form arrow. Oh man, it's not just you, Dunnan. None of your characters are rolling great.
You rigged the dice.
Yep, definitely.
I mean, I've been hitting.
Yeah, I microwaved all your dice in online dice. Siegfried will
Just confess.
follow suit. He's gonna try a frostbite on it. Because that'll give it disadvantage on weapon attack rolls. Con save. Fails the con save with a 10. So its next attack has disadvantage. 9 points of cold damage. As it is coated in this thick layer of frost, and we come around to 10's turn, top of the order. Just make a con save for concentration. Yeah, those tentacles aren't going anywhere.
10 is gonna swoop around and touch Aeolus for a cure wound.
Okay.
Which is 1 second.
$12, and if you're damaged at all, I believe you also heal on that. You are already full though, so.
Yeah, I'm fine. Alright. That's my
Oh, it's
go.
like half my hit points. Thanks.
That's my action. Okay. And then, as my bonus action, I'm gonna cast Magic Stone.
Okay, noted. So you have three little pebbles. You probably picked up from that alcove earlier, about the size of your fist, ready to go.
Got it.
All right, that brings us to Aeolus.
Alrighty. This bonus action, Blood Curse of the Marked.
Okay.
I'm going to amplify it.
Roll an additional Hemocraft dice. Next attack roll against target has advantage. Cool.
I'm going to shout to Kanan. What, did you forget how to fight while we're down here? Get to the other side.
I haven't had my breakfast ale. I don't know.
22 hits. So that's going to be
And then the extra.
nice. So 5, 15, 18 total after the resistance to the slashing damage. Very good. This thing is shaking slightly. You can hear the armor rattling as its eyes turn the whole helmet towards you, focusing on what's going on. Second attack, no good. Con save for black tentacles. It's maintaining that concentration. Willem's still very trapped.
And I will end my turn.
Okay. Willem takes an additional 9 points of damage as he is being squeezed.
He feels at home.
I don't know what to do. I'll try this. And he'll just, this is necrotic damage. He knows that's no good. He hasn't used that yet. And he doesn't have a lot of damaging spells that aren't necrotic. I'll try Chaos Bolt. He has disadvantage because of the restrained, but he might as well. Ooh. It is not that good.
By the gods.
Yeah. No good rolls for y'all right now. It is the Helmed Horror's turn. As it turns its full attention to you, Aeolus. It is going to unleash its multi-attack on you.
Let's go.
It's attacking Aeolus, I will use my reaction to attack it.
Yeah, Sentinel. Yeah, go for it.
Yes.
The first one on you, Aeolus, is a 14, which apparently hits your weak constitution. 7 points to you.
Okay.
Done in! Finally rolling decent, but not quite enough.
Oh.
I'm getting really angry here.
Second one, Aeolus, is also 15, which apparently also hits you for another 6 points. Low in the damage for its 2 attacks.
Don't you die over there, old man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's going to move forward slightly, but that brings us around to Dunnan. This thing, it looks like it is barely holding together.
Let's get tactical here. So, and now I take advantage, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm flanking.
Incoming double natural 1.
Yes. No.
25. Dunnan, you finally find some purchase. As you sort of do this combat roll around and take one big heavy swing, bashing through its knee, causing the rivets of the armor to finally pop and splinter. The whole armor crumbles sideways and falls apart into the 100 or 200 so pieces that make up its form, destroying it.
The knee. I knew it.
8 points left.
Yay!
Weak point was the knee.
And that's going to take the group of you out of initiative.
You're right, Aeolus. You have some blood in your face. You need a hand? Come on, and I'll offer him my hand to walk.
I'm fine.
And let's take
You
a
sure?
mid-session break here. About 7 minutes to come back on 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, awesome.
Okay.
back into things. As the group of you finish this fight, cacophony against this magical suit of armor, and it crumbles over, it causes a catastrophic sound that echoes throughout the entire space, bouncing all off of the defaced frescoes and up and down along the long corridor. It takes a good 20 seconds before the ringing and the rolling pieces of metal that made up this suit of armor previously stop moving, and the sound slowly dies away. 10, you still have a detect magic up for the next 10 minutes.
Well, pretty sure we announced ourselves with that.
What? I didn't hear anything.
Oh. You're going deaf, old man?
At least this old
Already?
man can still hit.
Well, I finished it off. He's dead, right? And you don't look so good. And I'll tap him for 15 points of healing with lay on hands.
Okay.
Ah, shucks.
Better now, huh? Why don't you take a nap over there?
What? I still can't hear you.
What'd you say, Sonny?
You need to get a checkup. I think your monthly checkup back in Elderfonden.
Right. I believe I've cleared all of the requisite dynamic lighting layers also. You should be able to see south in the corridor.
Is there anything else within the alcove that the animated armor was in?
There's 2 plinths on either side of it, smaller, that seem to, at maybe one point, held some type of edifice, but no longer.
Okay.
Opposite the corridor, on the eastern wall, you see 2 stone basins that look like they have a small pool of water in each of them.
Was the armor guarding anything?
I want to perch on one of the plinths.
You may do so. There's
No weight activated mechanisms.
No.
Got it.
Not on the northern plinth. You can try the southern one.
I want to try the southern one.
As you settle onto the plinth, nothing happens.
Okay.
Is there anything on the animated armor or anything that looks like it may be worth taking off?
The armor itself is still pristine. There's still a very faint aura of magic around it to U10. Hello?
Aura of magic around the...
Can you hear me? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so there's still a faint aura of magic around the various pieces of the armor. Very weak enchantment. It is all still in pristine condition.
Is it salvageable?
Presumably. It is, it goes together into a 12-foot tall suit of armor. It's all gilded. It's edged in golds and silvers. The metal is has a bluing that's been placed on it. That's particularly nice, but it is far too large for any of you and quite heavy.
Can I do an Arcana check to see if I can tell what type of enchantment is still on it?
Sure, make an Arcana check. Your best guess is it's some type of abjuration enchantment, likely just used to preserve the armor against rust and wear and age and blemishes.
Okay.
We should take that with me. Maybe Emilio or Andre can do something with it.
Can you carry the whole thing? And Ao's gonna grab the helm.
Don't we have a hole or some set of bag?
Most of the weight is taken up by your cask.
Hmm.
Alcohol or armor?
Alcohol. It's an easy
Thought
choice.
so I'm gonna take the helm and just hang the helm off my pack.
Okay. Add a horror helm to your inventory. It weighs 25 pounds.
I'm so happy I left my breastplate back at Elderthorn. All right. Shall we continue?
A shame, but well. You need to have your priorities straight. Let's go.
I'll move Willem and Siegfried along as it matters. That way I don't have to keep playing hopscotch with their tokens. You see two more alcoves. One of them has a stone table on the western side, and the other one looks to be maybe what was at one point wooden benches that have since dry rotted and crumpled or been destroyed by some type of action. Nothing of note immediately stands out in either alcove, though. Ahead, you do see two what appears to be natural caverns that have sort of broken through the corridor here.
Can I give the stone table a look through? See if there's anything hidden or...
Sure. You do a brief once over, looking around it, gazing at the sides of it. There's a few very basic runes carved into it. You gather has to do something with the rest of the religious space here. Nothing catches your attention though.
Okay.
So to either side, Dunnan, let's see. I assume you still have your torch going.
Yeah.
There is a staircase that leads up and leads to what appears to be some type of junction on either side.
And the hallway ends here?
Oh, a hallway ends here.
Oh,
At the end of the
okay.
hallway is another fresco that is floor to ceiling. It is the Matron of Ravens with both of her hands outstretched in a sort of like a palm open motion. Her wings spread wide, fanning shade on what appears to be coffins, urns, sarcophagi beneath her. And the face, which is probably as big as you are, has been likewise defaced, chiseled away, destroyed. It is an impressive fresco, if it were intact.
Shame. Such beautiful art. He shrugs and continues.
Do we head upwards or do we go back and check that door?
Door? Which door?
All the way north and all the way west.
Well, sure. Let's check them out.
What does everyone else say?
I don't know. I kind of hate the thought of going back when we haven't hit an end yet.
I'm with Helly.
On in. I guess we're going this way. You have to come all the way back.
What?
What?
Ugh, guys.
You hear the voices echo, what?
Then decide left or right.
I'm
I would
gonna
have gone.
swoop up this staircase.
Sure. Go ahead and move to the top of the staircase and make me a new perception check now that we're out of combat, where you continue to look for traps, which is what I assume you're doing. Noted.
That's correct.
I will keep that in mind. So the hallway forms a junction here. One corridor passes north, one east, and one south. The one to the east, you see, terminates in a curtain that has sort of been pegged into the side of the wall and sort of held aside. It's held apart from everything else. To the north and south, you see nothing of note.
I'm curious about the curtain too.
As you push forwards, you see what appears to be a small camp of some sort, long since abandoned or destroyed. There are no bodies within this space, as you found with the gnolls. There is a moldy and discarded bedroll that seems to have a layer of maybe straw or something underneath that has turned green and black. There is a small chest tucked into a corner here as well, right here. And there is a small crate with what appears to be a hooded lantern upon it, obviously not lit.
What did you find?
Dead end, largely.
Ellie's ready to open that little chest. Which I guess is right here.
Do you open the chest?
Yes, I do.
It is not locked. It looks like there is a place for a padlock to be placed upon it, although it is not currently occupied. You flip the latch and open the chest. As the old wood creaks and groans with the iron bandings that's holding it together, a layer of dust sort of spills out from the top of it, carpets the ground around you before you peer at the contents inside. There is a small pouch, what looks to be a traveler's backpack, and a book.
Okay, well, she'll open the pouch and open the backpack and start rooting around inside those things.
The pouch contains 17 silver crowns. You can add that to your inventory.
Nice.
Make me a history check. These are not crowns that you know of. You recognize silver coins for what they are. These appear to be stamped in a type of way that you're not familiar with. You've never seen these types of coins before, but silver is silver. So you suspect maybe from some settlement that you've never been to, traveled to, or seen coins from. Not the most unheard of. You need to see a new coin every now and then, but just of note. So that's
Okay, anything in the backpack?
There is half of a what you suspect might have been a loaf of bread at one point, but now feels like a rock. And what appears to be a glass jar that has been sort of tightened and sealed shut that has a leather wrap over the top, the lid of it.
Does it look interesting?
There's some type of substance within it. There's no label.
No label. Kelly's gonna hand that carefully to Aeolus and see if he recognizes any part of it.
Nothing rings a bell to you, Aeolus. You've never seen anyone cover the tops of their jars in sort of bound leather previously.
Not that I've seen.
Okay, well, Kelly will keep it carefully, see if we can figure out what it is. It doesn't happen to look like jam for the bread, does it?
It might be. Now that you
It
think
might
on it,
be.
it might be jam.
It might be jam. Okay, anything else in the backpack?
No, that's it in the backpack.
Okay, and what about the book?
The book is not terribly large as you pick it up. It's about 8 inches in height and 4 inches in width. And it's kind of narrow. And it's thin. Maybe half an inch in thickness. You pick it up and parse through it. You don't see any writing implements nearby, but you can see that this is a journal of some sort. A lot of it is illegible at this point. It seems like age and some degree of moisture at some point has gotten to this thing. And the ink is blurred and been damaged, and pages are quite fragile as you try to parse through them. You find the most recent entry about halfway through, and it fills about half of a page. I found a safe location to make camp. Still haven't been able to find my way out. I think they're watching me. I don't know how. I don't know why. I feel a prickle in the back of my neck in my quiet moments. I'm almost out of food. I need to find more. Mother protect. That's the end of it. Hello? Everyone's muted.
Oh, sorry. Whoops. Well, I don't think we're going to find this person in one piece, but interesting to know that somebody was here looking for something. I'm going to keep the book and see if maybe in broad light we can read a little bit more about what this person is looking for, why they're there.
It is written in Orcish. No.
Okay. So she'll hand it to Aeolus and see what he thinks. He needs to practice his Orcish anyway.
I will put it away for the moment.
Okay. Add Orcish journal to your inventory.
Well, shall we continue on our way?
Sounds good to me.
It's like amazing here.
Up the north corridor.
Sad to me that he was so close to getting out. He couldn't find his way.
I hope someone's keeping track of how to get out of here.
I think that's something Siegfried would know what to do.
We would hope.
Hopefully.
We've pretty much gone to the east most of the time, or the south, so north and west would be a direction to try.
Proceeding along, Dunnan, your eyes catch what appears to be a brazier set into a small divot in the wall up ahead, next to where 10 is the star. That has what appears to be a bunch of pretty porous-looking rocks filling the brazier itself. 10, this does read as magical to you. You got about a minute left on Detect Magic at this point.
Can I try to light it with my torch?
Certainly.
Is there something?
You press the torch to it, and it bursts into a steady, even flame.
Might there be light? So at least if we come by here again, we know that we have been here.
Yeah.
You see a T intersection up ahead of you. One path leads roughly to the west, and it looks like it has an incline and starts going up. The other one leads to the south and stays on about the same level.
To the south?
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah. This seems as good as anything.
Mm.
The group of you confirm as you see the staircase
we
to the
circled
east.
around.
This proceeds back into the main area that you had previously left from. 10 with your passive, as it's now the highest in the group. You hear the sound of moving water. Not quite filling the space that it's currently occupying. It sounds like it's moving through the stone nearby, and you're sort of getting the splashing against the stone that you just barely pick up.
Can I tell what direction that's coming from?
It sounds like underneath you.
The corridor that runs to the south, is it declined, inclined?
About the same level.
Okay. 'Cause there's water flowing beneath us.
Water.
Water. I
Hmm.
hear it. I'm gonna go down the south pathway.
Right.
Go back.
There's a dynamic lighting barrier. I'm going to jump you to the other side of it. As you push out further, 10, your vision catches the rays of morning light as the sound of water gets slightly louder. You realize that you are coming up on the back end of the area that you previously roosted on, looking to see if there was any movement in guard rotations. There seems to be an obscured entrance by vines and rocks behind and above the waterfall that you had roosted near.
Okay, I'm gonna backtrack a hair, tell everybody to wait. And I wanna go see if I can peek out very stealthily.
Currently, you see about 24 individuals milling about the space. It is morning at this point. The group of you have ventured in the dead of night, and the sun has just started to rise. The sky is still pinkish, but there's already a bevy of activity in the front space there. It seems to just be individuals milling about at the moment, sort of getting ready for the day.
No, nobody seems alarmed.
Doesn't appear to be any type of rush or hurry. Seems like your ingress has remained secretive.
Okay, I'm gonna backtrack to everybody else and let them know that that is an exit back to the waterfall at the entrance.
And then the exit. How unfortunate for the person. He was so close. Well, too bad for him. Good to know.
Was that?
I think we can go back up now to the
Alright.
north.
Well, wasn't there another way up here that the stairs went up?
We can take a look.
So this dynamic lighting layer, then I'm jumping to the other side of it. You speaking, Hellrest?
What?
I said, are you speaking? I didn't know if you were muted. I thought you.
No, I was not muted.
Oh.
No, I'm not speaking.
Okay.
My chair squeaks.
Oh, and then it goes down again?
No, it continues to go up. Down is the direction that you're coming from. Is an arrow.
Oh.
So you're going
Okay.
up right now. As the corridor turns and you gather it spirals around back over itself.
I'll wait for the others.
Yeah. Dunnan, to your right, which the west, as you approach, you see the back area of one of the crypts and sarcophagi that you saw as you entered before you found the two trapdoors. Cleverly hidden behind it, there seems to be a gap in the wall that you could have proceeded this direction from the entrance as opposed to
Seems
the trapdoors.
okay. Seems to be there is a shortcut over to the main entrance we came for, with the sarcophagi. Should remember that.
Alright, let me grab the description for this space. As you enter this larger cavern area here, Dunham and 10 in the lead, the two pick up once again the smell of waste. This is of shit and refuse and rot. You find in this space two more mushroom-covered bodies of gnolls. There's a bucket off to one corner to the west. There's a small alcove. And you can see a pile of molded meat in the southwest corner, near where the gnolls are in the center of the room. The corpses being about here.
Isn't it somewhat disturbing that there are mushrooms growing on corpses? Is that normal?
Seems like it happens everywhere around here.
Question
Just
is,
wanted to point it out. It's weird.
Yeah.
The two bodies that have been piled next to each other as you get closer, Aeolus, you notice one of them is missing one of its legs. You can catch it from further away. The other one is missing about 2/3 of an arm, broken above the elbow. And those pieces are nowhere to be seen.
do the breaks seem to have happened post-mortem?
Make a medicine check.
to a disadvantage. God damn it.
They're broken. They don't appear to be chopped. It's about, or sawn off. It's about as far as you get, though.
Hmm.
Broken and torn.
Does anyone find anything odd about this?
Everything's odd here in here.
Mm-hmm.
Has the Fey presence changed at all?
No. Ten, as you get closer to that alcove, you recognize one of the bigger sources of the smell in this space. There's a waste bucket in the corner that
Gross.
presumably those gnolls were using.
I leave that corner.
I'm going to investigate the gnoll bodies to see if either of them have the collars or similar hash marks.
Sure. Make me an investigation check. Okay. Both of them do appear to have been subjected to floggings at some point in their pre-death stage. There is some degree of healing to them, not a lot. Neither of them carry collars. You do also find one of them, it looks like they had sort of collapsed on top of it in sort of a leather, very basic leather vest that it sort of has on. A hidden interior pocket that has a set of thieves' tools mixed in with everything else.
I will grab those.
The other one has
Continue
nothing,
onward.
no.
Seems like one of the gnolls had a set of lockpicks on them.
That might come in handy.
You see the corridor narrows here, Dunnan, and moves into a more hand-shaped space as opposed to natural cavern to the south of you.
Here's a door, it seems.
The door before you, Dunnan, appears to be made of very dark wood with heavy steel bands across it, holding it in place. It looks aged, but still quite sturdy.
We should better watch out for traps 10. There have been a few surprises so far.
On it. Can I check to see if I can hear anything beyond the door?
Sure. Perception check, please, to start with. Take a good listen. You hear nothing.
Okay. Is the door or the area around it indicative that the door has been opened at all recently?
Make a survival check. Provided that it opens in towards you, which you suspect it does based on the placement of the hinges, it is not. There's gravel upon the ground from the like aging flagstones that has not sort of been shifted out of the way by the movement of a door. So you gather it's not been opened recently.
Okay. I want to cast Detect Traps.
Okay.
I have that. Find traps, sorry. Find traps.
All good. The door does not appear to be trapped. You detect
Wonderful.
nothing.
So it's safe?
I think so.
Great.
I can't
And
hear
then
anything.
opens the door.
It doesn't look like it's been opened recently, and
You grab the handle and the thumb depressor to open the door. It is locked.
Jonas, bring that thief tools over here. I think we might need it here. The door is locked, not trapped.
Sure thing.
You know how to use it?
me?
Jonas or either one of you.
Never picked a lock in my life.
I could try.
Me neither.
So you're not proficient with the thieves' tools. So this will be a straight dexterity check, Aeolus. With disadvantage because you're exhausted.
Maybe you're not.
Come on, old man.
But detect magic has ended by this point 10.
Okay.
Takes a good 5 minutes of work here, Aeolus. You do eventually hear the telltale click of the door and gather you've unlocked it successfully.
Well done.
You enter into a small space to either side, north and south of the room. There are a series of bars set up right against the walls. Upon these bars looks to be welded, small beads of weld around it, and contained by each of these sort of tiers of beads. It gives the impression of steel or iron versions of bamboo, somewhat. And these thicker portions are used to securely tie tags and little charms and whatnot to the different columns of steel within this space. That's on the northern one. The southern one has a series of shelves placed upon steel and uses these thicker beads of metal to prevent the shelves from sliding down the columns after they've been affixed in place. It's a novel way of over-engineering something as simple as a shelf. You see two doors, two other potential doors out of this space, one east and one west. There's nothing presently on the shelves.
It's a weird looking shelf. I'll wait for the others to enter. Where do you want to go? Right or left? East or west?
Can I, following Pen's actions earlier, can I press my ear towards the western door?
Sure. You listen, quiet as the grave.
There appears to be nothing on the other side of this door that's making a stir. How about yours?
I listen at the door. Do I hear anything?
You take a good long listen. Likewise, nothing.
Oh, seems safe. And I open it.
Sure. The space ahead of you, done as you open, is dominated by a massive statue. The room itself is conical in shape, quite tall, rather narrow. It's probably about 15, 20 feet in height, and narrows pretty rapidly from the walls. The statue in the center, now that you've placed a name to the form, appears to be that of the Matron of Ravens. The head and face of the statue has been chiseled and damaged to the point that there is no face upon it. What's your passive perception?
Mine?
Never mind. 10 entered the space.
Okay.
10, you see at the base of the statue, just adjacent to where you are, the northwest corner, a small button that has been carefully obfuscated within the decorative patterns upon the base.
I'm sorry, what does that word mean?
Obfuscated?
Yes.
Hidden.
Okay.
So there's a button that's been cleverly disguised within the patterns of the base.
I push the button.
There's a grinding of stone as you press the button in. There's a little bit of resistance, but a firm push. The statue rotates counterclockwise 90 degrees and then shifts south until its right side
Guys, you press
is
the button.
sort of half blocking the corridor to the south of you, and to the southern door. You can still climb past the statue, but it's now blocking part of that space to easily walk through, and it's revealed a hole in the ground with a ladder leading down it.
I think Ten found a secret gate, ladder. Usually before pressing a button, we discuss it first. Just as a heads up for the next time.
I want to see if I can see anything down the hole. See how deep it is, maybe.
The space on the hole, it's about 15 or so feet straight down. There is a rickety wooden ladder, and it goes away from the hole to the northwest-ish area.
Shall we go down?
I mean, there's much to explore in down here, up here.
Yes, but if everybody outside and all of these gnolls have been looking for this stone and they haven't found it yet, my guess is going the paths that are hidden might take us there faster.
It sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
All right,
that's
let's head down.
Alright. I'm gonna gently glide down the hole.
Oh, hold on, and I take out another torch, light the new one, and throw the old one down into the hole, so we
Okay.
can see a little bit more.
Yeah, the ground is illuminated. 10 as you explore the space. Give me a perception check. Takes you not but 2 minutes to confirm that this path. Let me adjust your token. I'm going to slide your token around a little bit. Is the southern path from where the individual's camp was.
Okay. And I report that information back to the group.
Additionally, there is no mechanism on the lower side the tunnel side of this passage that you spot even with your high perception that would move the statue. You gather that it's only able to be moved, locked, or unlocked from the one side. So if you were on the other side, it would be, for all intents and purposes, a ladder leading to what appears to be a dead end.
Well, it seems we have to explore up here. I go to the south door.
The door has a heavy wooden bar set across it. It's about 10 inches by 10 inches by the about 8 feet width of the area.
Can I lift the bar?
Sure, make me an athletics check. It's pretty heavy. Take a good squat and get underneath it. Carefully shift it. You can feel it straining your thighs and your back as you try to move it, and slowly rotate and let it just sort of fall once it's clear of the door and careful of your toes down adjacent to where you are.
All right, guys, I'm gonna open the door here.
You see the bright sunlight blinding you because your eyes were not used to the light at that moment.
I think I found a way out.
Make me a stealth check.
Yeah.
You're yelling with an open door.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yes,
Okay.
I closed the door. No.
Uh, 10 and Dunnan. The two of you hear some shouting coming from outside as you close the door.
I immediately try to put the bar back in place.
Sure, make another athletics check.
Can I rush over to try to help?
Yeah, make an athletics check with
Yeah.
advantage. 29. Not 12 seconds later, you manage to get the bar back in place as the door shuts hastily, not quietly. The door is once again barred. And then
I think
about 20 seconds later, you hear pounding on the door.
I just put a finger over my lips and say, shh.
I'm gonna run back over to the door that we came in. I'm gonna see if I can lock it from this side.
The door to your left? Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make me a sleight of hand check. You don't have a key.
Nope.
You work on it for a good minute. You're not getting anything really caught with the thieves' tools. You continue to try, but you're worried that you might break the tools if you do so.
Yeah, no. I'm going to go back to everyone. We need to pick a door. We need to pick a door now.
You have 3 options. Well, 3 that you haven't explored.
Yeah. This one?
That one.
Dunnan, you step into what appears to be a crypt. There are 2
dead end.
sarcophagi within this space. Each of them has runes carved upon the base of them. You recognize Orcish script at a glance at this point. But there's nothing else within the space that seems interesting enough. Both sarcophagi are closed. It does not appear that these have been looted at any point, like the ones in the original chamber you entered this space through. Not this space, the whole space. So they're relatively intact.
Just some sarcophagi Dead end.
I'm gonna
Are-
go through the north door.
Go.
Are they
You should be able.
open?
You should be able to open.
No, they're closed.
Go ahead and enter 10. I assume you're keeping an eye out for traps anyway. This one is similar make, although larger, made of dark stone with a vaulted ceiling. The sarcophagi in this space are slightly damaged. There's one askew that the corner has been busted in, and the lid is slightly off kilter.
Would we all fit in the sarcophagi?
Not in the same one.
Oh yeah, but
Maybe. You need to move the stone lids.
okay. I'm not capable of doing that. I go back and say it's also a dead end unless we want to hide.
I think hiding inside there would be, I don't know, would it be smart?
Well,
Or are we facing the problem head on? Which is usually my preferred way of handling things.
are those sarcophagi disturbed?
One of them has been. The lid is slightly askew, showing a corpse. Not those. It was the northern ones. The lid is slightly askew, revealing the corpse within, and the corner that has been disturbed has been broken, leading to a hole about 2 feet roughly in diameter between the lid being shifted and the corner being smashed.
All right. I'm going to.
This one.
Okay. I'm gonna pull down into the smaller room where the sarcophagi haven't been touched, and I'm gonna. Let's open these. Let's see if what we came for is in here.
All right.
Yeah. Time to start looting, guys.
I'd like athletics checks from both of you, please. Done. Not a problem. Takes you 30 seconds of effort to slowly shift inch by inch these heavy stone lids. Aeolus not making much progress.
Kelly's gonna shoulder in there and try as well.
Sure, go ahead and make an athletics check. Alright, takes about 5 minutes for you and Aeolus sort of working in tandem to get the second one open. Eventually you do have them both open. Entombed within these are 2 linen-wrapped corpses. They seem to be about average height, 5'10", 6 feet maybe. They are covered in dust. There's a few cobwebs in the space. You gather maybe spiders that have gotten trapped within the space as well, or that have squeezed through underneath cracks in the stone lid and an imperfect seal. But there are 2 bodies.
And anything in there?
I'm gonna search through to see if there's anything of interest.
Okay. Make an investigation check. The adrenaline coursing through you is not helping. The knocking on the door has stopped, although you're still on edge as you slightly disrespectfully shift the bodies around, checking for anything hidden within the space. Nothing seems to stand out to you here.
So a dead end, Aeolus.
Quite bit early.
Crap. I think they're on to us very soon. Shall we
Maybe
check
we
the other
should
room?
go down. I can hit the button and then probably get through before the stationery's back in place. They'll never find us that way.
It's true.
I mean, we can.
Good, yes. Or we go through that other door in the room.
I'll rush over to the other door and usher Siegfried and Willem over to the statue.
I'm assuming their tokens are with you. I'm just not moving their tokens constantly. Alright, so this was the door that was completely silent as you listened in on it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna try to open it a crack.
Okay.
Try to peek.
It opens out towards you.
Okay.
You carefully shift it, just so you can sort of stick your face in. Silent as the grave is right. You find a small crypt. Separated from the others. This one is lower to the ground. It's about 3 feet out of the ground. You don't know if it's recessed, whereas the others were about 4.5 feet in height. This one is not quite as tall, which strikes you as odd. Additionally, there's no scrawling around it. There's nothing emblazoned upon the flat lid of this, as opposed to the others, which were a little bit more ornate. They had orcish carvings upon them. This seems very basic by comparison to the other things within this space.
All right. I am going to try to move the lid or to see if there's a way to open it.
Make me an athletics check.
Need a hand, old man?
Yeah.
Takes you a couple minutes until you sort of shift this lid slightly and realize this is not a sarcophagus at all. It is a stone slab upon a base of a stone slab. It's made to look like a sarcophagus. But clearly the craftsmanship that went into the others did not make it all the way to here.
Okay. Is there anything? I want to give this room a complete look through.
Sure. Make me a perception check in that case. The room looks small, cramped. Not at all what you expected, and the false sarcophagus is throwing you. There's a few bits of sort of rubble, or like chipped tile on top of the sarcophagus. A few bits around the areas, different area, like corners of the room as the space has aged. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. There's no adornment on the walls, no carvings. It's utilitarian almost. It's strange.
About how heavy are the two stone slabs?
On the bottom one, you're not sure. It seems to be recessed into the ground. The top one, best guess, maybe 200 pounds, 300 pounds, easily.
Okay.
If not more. It was very difficult to slide. Could be even more.
I want to call Hellarest and Cunnet. I'm gonna put the solid steel mitigator and try to give them enough room to see if they can pick up the bottom slab.
Sure.
The
I would
bottom
take-
slab, the top one's in place already. Top one's on top of it. You slid it slightly to the side to reveal that there's nobody entombed in this space, but it's not off.
Okay.
There's no space in this area for it to be off.
Then I will. Words. I think there may be something underneath. We have to get this slab off and try to move the bottom slab. So can we
Sounds like heavy
try to get
lifting.
this out of the room?
Okay.
Oh, why? Alright. Do we have time for that?
Well, if we take this slab and put it in front of the door that we came through,
I know what you mean now. Alright. Tannen spits into his hands. Alright, I'm ready.
Hellarast will climb kind of behind
The far
Is
side
there
of the room.
enough space for her to stand on either side of that?
It's a little bit cramped, but yeah.
Yeah,
Just gonna
okay.
supervise everyone.
Okay, make me a perception check as you do 10. Noted. All right. As you push into the space, I need an athletics check from both Hellerest and Dunniness. It sounds like you're trying to lift this and then walk it back out
I'm
of the
gonna
room.
fall.
Mm-hmm.
This could be my moving out.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be.
No, but
Go ahead.
Mike.
give it a try.
All right. Dunnin.
Just
and
had to roll a
Hellerest.
2.
Yeah.
All right. You both strain pretty heavily with your backs. This thing does not want to lift up. 10. Something that you catch. There's more gravel on top of the lid of this false sarcophagus at this point. You realize Hellerest had stepped across it when she entered the room to try to sort of get herself into space, and her boots had sort of tracked some of the tile and gravel throughout the space onto the lid of this not a crypt.
After they fail to move the crypt, I'm gonna go and land on it.
Okay. You land on it, not adding too much weight, even as they continue to try to strain.
Yeah, or else it doesn't touch. It is too heavy.
What are you looking for, 10?
Why are you on the slab?
I want to try to brush the debris away.
Okay.
And
It
then
brushes to either side and rejoins its companions, it seems, the broken floor tiles of the entire chamber, all of the chambers through which you've been traveling.
Is there anything about the lid that's like interesting, or
It is carved flat. There is no inscribing, no markings, other than what appears to be very clear just chisel marks of making a flat stone, and smoothing it out even more. But there's
What about
nothing.
rubble around it?
The rubble around it, I mean, there's some throughout the space, and then more that you've just added, some of which was from Hellerest and some of which was already on top of it. But it all seems to be the same sort of floor pavers that have been present throughout the space. Slightly lighter stone than the walls themselves, probably mined from a quarry nearby and used to pave throughout the space. It doesn't quite match the walls. All of it seems to be of the ground, though.
Do I see anything when I look up?
No, you see the same dark stone, darker than the pavers, that has inhabited most of the natural caverns here. This has been carved into a rough vaulted ceiling, clearly meant to resemble the other crypts in this space, but nowhere near the same care and attention paid to it.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic again.
Okay, good.
Magic?
Sure, mark off the spell slot. As you focus on the spell, you get the sense of illusion from behind Hellerest.
I jump, like hop, fly, whatever, flap over Hellerest and kick at the wall.
There is a false section of wall that you have discovered that has a handle hidden within it, sort of in a recessed alcove, and the illusion has been placed to hide that recessed alcove with a handle.
Okay. I pull on the handle.
You open the false back of this crypt
This way.
into
Oh,
a
great. Good
chamber.
work.
There is a small desk off to the northwest corner here. Stacks of molded and useless parchment. a few small barrels made of wood, and a large shelf that sits caddy corner, the diagonal thing on the map. Upon the shelf are a few things that, with your spell active, uh, radiate magic to you. There are 3 vials about 2 inches in height and a half inch in diameter, that have been stoppered with a cork and sealed with wax. And a single scroll of parchment that seems to have not been deteriorated by age and time.
Okay.
All 4 of those things radiate as magical.
I go to investigate the parchment.
All of them are abjuration. You unfurl part of the parchment. This is a scroll. You recognize it as it is on your spell list. This is a scroll of remove curse.
Okay.
Anything good in here?
I have a scroll of remove curse and some magic vials.
They have a purplish liquid within them.
Can I start to run my hand along all the walls?
Certainly. Take a good look through the walls. Give me an investigation or perception, your choice. They are dark stone walls. Nothing seems out of place upon these walls as you sort of trace it around the room. You duck behind the shelving unit that contained these things. You find another crate, and it looks like it might have been hardtack at one point, although it's been opened, and mushrooms are now filling the interior of it. You can continue along. There does not appear to be any secret doors or passages out of this space.
Mushrooms are filling the interior of the crate.
Of the barrel behind the shelving unit.
Can I parse through the barrel to see if there is a body?
So I need you to, as you sort of reach in and start digging through this space, the same popper mushrooms that you've encountered so far begin bursting immediately in your face. I need you to make me a con save.
Okay.
He gets a +4. He's next to me.
Not when he's rooting through that.
I am also going to hold my breath.
Noted. The spores are present. They sort of get a few whiffs of them. It's quite pungent. You then stop inhaling and hold your breath. Nothing terrible seems to happen to you.
All right, I'm gonna continue to look through this crate or the barrel.
You're pulling out pieces and little square biscuits of hardtack as you go. All of them covered in mold, mushroom stalks that have burst and caused this sort of continuously building cloud of spores that you're causing. Presently, your hand hits something hard that doesn't feel like mushroom, and you reach in and yank and pull it out. And it is about 2/3 of a skull that has been caved in.
Does it look like a human skull? Or a
It's humanoid. It's humanoid. You notice immediately it's distinctly not orcish, based on the lack of tusks. It's quite broad. The bone is pretty thick, but other than that, you're not sure.
All right. Is that the bottom
No,
of
there's
the barrel?
no. You've reached. You pulled it from what you gather is probably the bottom half of the barrel. But there's still more that you can dig through if you'd like.
Yep.
Okay. You continue digging, pulling out more fragments of bone. You find several femurs, few tibia. You find all different parts of the body. Most notably, every single bone you pull out is quite a sturdy piece of bone, by any standard. A little bit thicker than you would expect someone such as yourself would have, maybe. They belong to probably a powerful individual. And they've all been snapped, broken.
Oh,
None of them have been cut or sawed, like you would expect someone if they were butchering an animal. These have been snapped.
is there anything else in this barrel?
Continue digging. You eventually reach the bottom and find nothing else. Hardtack, snapped bones, mushrooms.
I'm going to slide out, stand there, and just try to shake off as far away from the group as possible the spores before I take a breath.
Okay.
There was remains of someone larger than me with every bone in their body snapped in half
What bone you found?
Ugh.
and lots of mushrooms.
This place is getting weirder by the minute.
I'll say.
Oh, I think there's nothing more to the room. I think we have to backtrack or go down the ladder. I think we should go down the ladder, otherwise we might run into someone.
Yeah.
10. Did you pick up the 3 vials as well that registered as magical to you? Okay.
Yeah.
In parentheses in your inventory, just put the number 3 for me.
Okay.
Not just for the quantity, but that's to tag their location for me. So when you ask about, hey, what are these later, I can refer back to my notes.
Sounds reasonable.
Alrighty. Are we pretty sure that there's nothing else in this room?
Are we ever sure about anything?
Not
Hear a
really,
cigarette
but
call from the other room with the steel. Probably not.
it is
Move.
probably. Alright.
You have 2 ways out of here, which you know. There's the door to the northwest, and the statue with the hole underneath it.
I still
Can I press the lever that 10 found to close the secret door after Haley Rest left the room?
Yeah, it's just a handle for the door. It's easily pulled back close.
Yeah, to close it back and then
very strange.
close the door so
Sorry, go
just as it looks nobody was here.
Yeah, it's very strange since the illusion stays in the exact same spot regardless of the door being open or not. So as the door's open, there's just this sort of floating bit of rock that is the illusion that fills the alcove where the handle is. And then as you pull the door close, your hand merges with the illusion as it's holding the handle, and then you remove
It's just
your hand, and it's just there.
it's a very neat trick they use here. And I appreciate the illusion for its simplicity, but also effectiveness. Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, it looks like a seamless wall of cut rock.
All right. Start going down. I'll close the doors over here.
Is there any noise happening from the opposite side?
Take a good listen for a moment now that you're here.
All right. Let's go.
And then I believe you're 10. You had mentioned you wanted to try pushing the button and then darting down the hole before the statue moved back into place.
That was the plan.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an acrobatics check as you press the button and then dart down the hole without issue, catching up to your companions. The torch at the base has already burned itself out by this point that Dunnan had thrown down. That is now just a useless piece of wood. But one by one, the group of you make your way into this space safely as you hear the grinding of the statue finally setting back into place as it finishes rotating back clockwise, facing the exit of this tomb space. And we'll pick up there next session.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
That opening the door and shouting was just so in character for Donna.
Yeah.
Yes.
I found a way
So-
out. Huh?
What?
Like, oh my gosh. On brand.
Awesome. Yep.
Oh well. Good session, everybody.